Serenya did not scream when her brothers dragged her toward the family tomb. She had already wasted too many screams in that house. She screamed when her mother slapped her for touching the silver dining cups, claiming her cursed fingers would poison the family. She screamed when her oldest brother locked her in the cold storage room for an entire night because one of his hunting wolves refused to obey him after looking at her. She screamed when her father died with his hand around hers, whispering a secret she never fully understood before his breath left him. But that night, as rain battered the Blackthorn estate and lightning split the sky above the mountains, Serenya kept her lips sealed. Her bare feet slid across the wet stone path. Her white dress was torn at the shoulder. Blood warmed the side of her mouth, where her aunt had struck her with a ringed hand. Behind her, the entire Blackthorn household followed with lanterns, black cloaks, and faces full of cold satisfaction. No one looked sad. No one looked ashamed. They looked relieved, as if getting rid of her was the first peaceful thing the family had done in years. "Walk faster," her second brother hissed, tightening his grip around her arm. Serenya stumbled, but she did not fall. The tomb waited at the bottom of the hill, half buried beneath twisted roots and ancient black stone. Wolves carved from granite guarded the entrance, their mouths open in silent warning. No one in the family had entered that tomb for generations. Children were told never to play near it. Servants crossed themselves whenever they passed it. Even the bravest hunters lowered their voices around it, because the tomb was not only a place for the dead. It was a prison. At least that was what the old stories claimed. Serenya had never believed them, not fully, until her uncle stepped forward with the iron key. The key was longer than his hand, black as burned bone, and covered in symbols that seemed to move whenever lightning flashed. Her mother stood beneath a large umbrella, dry and untouched, staring at Serenya as though she had never carried her in her womb. "You brought disgrace into this family from the day you were born," her mother said. Serenya looked at her, just looked. That seemed to anger the woman even more. "You will not cry," her mother demanded. "You will not beg." Serenya's voice came out quiet, but steady. "I begged you for 21 years. The words silenced everyone. Even the rain seemed to soften for one breath." Her oldest brother, Cassian, stepped forward, his fine coat heavy with rain, his jaw tight with hatred. "You are not one of us," he said. "You never were." Serenya's eyes moved to him, the brother who once promised to protect her, the brother who taught her how to climb the orchard wall when they were children, the brother who stopped loving her the moment the family needed someone to blame. "When father died," Cassian continued, "he should have named me heir. Instead, he left a sealed letter with your name on it. Do you know what that means?" Serenya swallowed. She did not know about any letter. She had been kept away from her father's chamber after his death. They told her she was too cursed to stand near his body. Cassian leaned closer. "It means even dead, you are still stealing from us," her aunt spat on the ground. "She has her father's madness." "No," her uncle said, turning the iron key in the tomb lock. "She has something worse." The great stone door groaned open. A breath of air rolled out from inside. Cold, old, alive. Every lantern flame bent backward at once. Several servants stepped away. Even Cassian's hand loosened around Serenya's arm. For one strange moment, Serenya felt something beneath the earth listening. Not hearing, listening. Her mother lifted her chin, put her inside. Serenya was pushed across the threshold. The darkness swallowed her feet first, then her legs, then the hem of her torn dress. She turned back, not to beg, not to plead, only to look at them one last time. The people who shared her blood, the people who had turned her loneliness into a sentence. Her youngest brother, Dorian, stood at the back of the crowd. He was only 17, still soft enough to feel guilt, still weak enough to hide it. His eyes met hers. For a heartbeat, he looked like he wanted to run to her, Then Cassian looked back at him. Dorian lowered his head. That hurt more than the slap, more than the blood, more than the rain. The stone door began to close. Serenya's mother gave her final words without a tremble. Let the curse die where it began. The door sealed. Darkness took everything. At first, Serenya heard only her own breathing. Then the locks turned from the outside. 1, 2, 3. The sound of her family walking away followed soon after, fading through the stone until there was nothing left but rain, silence, and the cold weight of the tomb pressing around her. Serenya stood still. She did not move for a long time. Then she laughed. It was not loud. It was not happy. It was the broken laugh of someone who had finally reached the bottom of pain and found there was no further place to fall. Her knees weakened. She sank to the floor. The stone beneath her was freezing. She touched her bruised arm and looked into the blackness. So this is it, she whispered. Her voice returned to her in a thin echo. This is it, this is it, this is it. Somewhere deep below, something answered, not in words, in movement. A low vibration passed through the tomb floor. Serenya stopped breathing. The darkness shifted. She could not see anything, but she felt it. A presence, vast, patient, ancient. Her hand slid across the floor, searching for anything she could use as a weapon. Her fingers found only dust and broken stone. Then blue light flickered in the distance, small at first, like a dying star. Then another appeared, then another. Lines of pale fire woke along the walls, spreading through carved symbols older than the Blackthorn name. The light revealed a long underground passage, sloping deeper beneath the hill. Serenya slowly rose. The tomb was larger than she had ever imagined. This was no family burial chamber. This was a hidden world beneath the estate. Black pillars lined the path, like the ribs of a giant beast. Names were carved into them, names she had never heard, names scratched out by violent hands. At the end of the passage, a stairway descended into a chamber so wide that the light could not reach its ceiling. And at the center of that chamber stood a crystal. It was taller than the tallest tower of the estate. Dark silver chains wrapped around it from every side, each chain hammered into the floor with spikes as thick as tree trunks. Inside the crystal was a man, no, not only a man. He was too large, too still, too powerful, even in sleep. His long black hair floated around him, as though trapped underwater. His bare chest was marked with scars that glowed faintly beneath the crystal's surface. Silver cuffs circled his wrists and throat. His hands ended in black claws, curled, as if he had fallen asleep while trying to tear the world apart. And behind his shoulders, half-formed in shadow, Serenya saw the outline of a wolf, massive, crowned with horns of bone. Its eyes were closed, but it did not look dead. Serenya backed away so fast she nearly fell. Every story she had ever heard as a child rushed back at once. The forbidden alpha, the beast beneath the Blackthorn tomb, the king who was betrayed by 12 noble families, the monster who would wake when cursed blood touched his prison. Serenya's heart pounded. "No!" she whispered. "No, no, no!" A crack sounded through the chamber. She froze. A thin line appeared across the crystal. Then she looked down. A single drop of her blood had fallen from her split lip onto the stone floor. It moved by itself. Like a red thread pulled by invisible fingers, it slid across the floor toward the crystal. Serenya rushed forward and wiped at it with her dress, but it was too late. The blood touched the base of the prison. The entire chamber shook. The chains tightened. The symbols on the floor erupted in blue flame. Serenya was thrown backward. The crystal cracked again. This time, the sound was louder, deeper, like thunder trapped underground. The man inside the crystal moved. Only one finger, but the chamber reacted as if a mountain had opened its eyes. Serenya crawled backward, shaking her head. "Stay asleep," she whispered. "Please stay asleep." The crystal split from top to bottom. A breath escaped from inside. Not air, power. It rushed through the chamber, tearing dust from the walls, ripping ancient banners into the air, extinguishing half the blue flames in one violent pulse. Then his eyes opened. Gold, not warm gold, not human gold, predator gold, moonlit gold. The gold of a wolf, watching from the edge of a forest, deciding whether the thing before him was prey, threat, or fate. Serenya could not move. The forbidden alpha stared at her through the broken crystal. For a long moment, neither of them breathed. Then the crystal shattered. Serenya covered her face as pieces exploded across the chamber, but none touched her. The shards stopped in the air inches from her skin, suspended by some invisible force. The man stepped out. The chains screamed. Silver burned into his skin as he pulled against them, but he did not flinch. One by one, the spikes ripped from the floor. The sound was terrible. The sound of centuries losing a war. He tore the cuff from his throat first, then his wrists. Then he stood free, barefoot on the tomb floor, tall, scarred, silent. His eyes never left Serenya. She wanted to run. But where would she go? Back to the sealed door. Back to the family that had buried her alive. The alpha took one step toward her. Serenya forced herself to stand. Her knees trembled, but she lifted her chin. "If you are going to kill me," she said, "do it quickly." The alpha stopped. Something moved across his face. Not amusement, not anger, recognition. His voice came low, rough, and unused, as if words had rusted inside him. "Your blood opened my prison." Serenya swallowed. "I did not mean to, I know." That surprised her. The alpha looked past her, toward the ceiling of the chamber, toward the estate above them. "They put you here." It was not a question. Serenya's throat tightened. "My family." At that word, something dark passed through his golden eyes. "Family," he repeated, as though the word tasted like poison. Then he looked at her bruised face, her torn dress, the blood at her mouth. His jaw hardened. "They marked you as cursed." Serenya looked away. "My whole life." The alpha stepped closer. This time, Serenya did not move back. He lifted one hand slowly, giving her time to refuse. His fingers hovered near her cheek, not touching. For a creature who had torn silver chains from stone, he moved around her as though she were made of glass. "You are not cursed," he said. Sarishta's eyes burned. She hated that those words hurt. She had wanted to hear them all her life. From her mother, from her father before he died, from her brothers, from anyone. Instead, she heard them from the monster buried under her family tomb. A bitter smile touched her lips. "Then what am I?" The alpha's expression changed. The chamber went silent. Even the remaining flames seemed to lean closer. "You are the key they feared." Above them, thunder rolled across the estate. And far above, in the Blackthorn manor, Cassian Blackthorn lifted a glass of wine to celebrate his sister's death. He stood in the grand hall, surrounded by family, elders, and allied pack leaders. The rain had not stopped, but inside the manor, music played, a fire burned. Servants poured wine. No one spoke Serenya's name. That was their first mistake. Their second was opening the sealed letter their father had left behind. Cassian waited until midnight. He wanted everyone important to hear it. He wanted them to know that whatever madness his father had written, it no longer mattered. Serenya was gone. The family was safe. The inheritance was his. His uncle broke the wax seal. The hall quieted. Then he began to read. "To my children, and to the bloodline that has hidden behind lies for too long." Cassian smiled faintly. Then the smile faded. His uncle's voice grew uncertain. "The daughter you despise is the only true heir of our house. Serenya Blackthorn carries the first blood. The blood stolen from the Alpha King imprisoned beneath your tomb." A glass shattered. Cassian went pale. His mother stood so quickly her chair fell behind her. His uncle stopped reading. "Continue," Cassian snapped. The man's hand shook. "If harm comes to her, the seal will weaken. If her blood touches the prison floor, he will wake. And when he wakes, he will not come for the world first. He will come for us." The fire went low. Every candle in the hall burned blue. Then, beneath their feet, the manor trembled. Not from thunder, from below, deep below. A sound rose through the floor, a wolf's growl, so low, so ancient, so full of rage that every person in the hall froze. Cassian turned toward the windows. Outside, the carved wolves on the tomb entrance were no longer stone. Their eyes were glowing. Down in the chamber, Serenya heard the growl too. It came from behind the Alpha's human body, from the shadow wolf bound to him. The Alpha closed his eyes as though forcing himself to remain calm. Serenya stared at him. "Who are you?" He opened his eyes. "My name was Kale Vare was." The word told its own story. Serenya repeated it softly. Kale. The chamber reacted to his name. The walls pulsed with faint gold light. Kale looked at her, as though hearing his name from her mouth had broken another chain inside him. "I was Alpha of the first Moon Pack," he said. "Before your family. Before their laws. Before they learned to call betrayal tradition." Serenya listened without blinking. "My bloodline ruled with the wild packs. The Blackthorns served as oath keepers. They were meant to guard the bond between wolves and humans." His mouth tightened. "But greed grows well in noble houses. They wanted my power. They wanted my throne. They wanted the obedience of every wolf alive." Serenya thought of Cassian, his hunger for inheritance, his need to be obeyed, the cruelty in his face when he pushed her into the tomb. "What happened?" she asked. Kale's gaze moved to the broken chains. "They invited me to a peace feast. 12 families, 12 vows, 12 knives." Serenya's stomach turned. "They could not kill me," he continued. "So they used blood magic. They cut power from my body and hid pieces of it inside their own bloodlines. Then they imprisoned what remained." Serenya stepped back. "Inside their bloodlines?" Kale looked at her. "Your family carries stolen power." The word struck harder than any slap. All her life they had called her the curse. All her life they had blamed her for storms, sickness, failed hunts, dying crops, restless wolves. But what if the curse had never been hers? What if she had been born as the warning? Kale moved closer. "When your father realized the truth, he tried to undo it." Serenya's breath caught. "My father knew. He came here once," Kale said. "Years ago. He stood outside my prison. He could not free me, but he saw enough. He understood that the blood had chosen you." Tears gathered in Serenya's eyes, but she refused to let them fall. "My father never told me. He feared they would kill you sooner." A sharp pain twisted through her chest. She remembered her father's dying hand gripping hers, his broken whisper. "Do not fear the dark beneath us." She had thought he was fevered. Now she understood. Above them, another tremor shook dust from the ceiling. Kale looked upward again. "They know I am awake." Serenya wiped her face with the back of her hand. "Then they will come." Kale's eyes settled on her. "They will try." The way he said it made the tomb feel smaller, safer, more dangerous. Serenya should have been terrified of him. A forbidden alpha from a forgotten age, a beast betrayed by her ancestors. A creature her family had spent centuries fearing. But she had seen monsters before. They wore family rings, they kissed foreheads in public and locked children in darkness at night. Kale was not the first monster she had met. He was only the first one who had told her the truth. A loud crack echoed from the passage behind them. Serenya turned. Blue flames along the wall began dying one by one. Kale's expression sharpened. "They have opened the upper seal." "Who?" "Your family's hunters." Serenya heard footsteps, many of them, boots against stone, metal sliding from sheaths, voices moving carefully through the passage. Cassian's voice rose above the others. "Serenya!" Her whole body stiffened. Kale noticed. His eyes darkened. Cassian called again, softer this time. "Sister, listen to me. We made a mistake. Come out and we can fix this." Serenya almost laughed. A mistake. They had dragged her barefoot through the rain. They had sealed her inside a tomb. They had celebrated above her grave. Now it was a mistake. Kale watched her face. "Do you want me to kill him?" The question was calm, too calm. Serenya looked at the passage. Part of her wanted to say yes, a wounded, starving part. But another part, deeper and colder, wanted something stronger than death. She wanted truth. She wanted them exposed. She wanted their power stripped from them in front of everyone who had bowed to them. "No," she said. Cale tilted his head. Serenya lifted her chin. "I want them to see me walk out alive." For the first time, something like approval moved across his face. Then walk. The hunters entered the chamber with silver-tipped spears. Cassian led them, pale, but trying to look brave. Their uncle followed with a book of old spells clutched to his chest. Serenya's mother stood behind them, trembling with fury more than fear. Then they saw Cale. No one moved, no one spoke. The Forbidden Alpha stood amid broken crystal and torn chains, his golden eyes fixed on the family that had inherited betrayal like a crown. One hunter dropped his spear. Cale's gaze flicked toward him. The man fell to his knees shaking. Cassian forced himself forward. "Ancient Alpha," he said, voice strained. "There has been a misunderstanding." Cale said nothing. Cassian swallowed. "My sister was brought here in error. She is unstable, dangerous. She has always had strange episodes. We were trying to protect the family." Serenya stared at him. Even now, even standing in front of the truth, he lied. Her mother stepped forward. "Serenya, come here." The command struck old fear in Serenya's body. For 1 second, she was a child again, small, hungry, desperate to be loved. Then Cale moved, only slightly. He placed himself beside her. Not in front of her, not as if she needed hiding, but as if the world should understand she no longer stood alone. Her mother's eyes widened. Cassian noticed. So did everyone else. Serenya breathed in. "No." The word was small, but it shook something loose inside her. Her mother's face hardened. "What did you say?" Serenya stepped forward. "I said no." Her uncle opened the spellbook. Cale's eyes snapped to him. "Read one word," Cale said, "and I will remove your tongue before the second." The uncle froze. Cassian's mask cracked. "You do not understand," he said to Cale. "She carries our blood. She belongs to our house." Cale's voice dropped. "She carries my blood." The chamber went silent. Serenya slowly turned to him. Cale did not look away from Cassian. "Your ancestors stole what was mine. They buried me. They fed pieces of my power to their children for centuries. But stolen blood does not obey thieves forever." Cassian's face drained. Cale finally looked at Serenya. It returned through her. Serenya felt heat bloom beneath her skin. Not pain, power. A golden light flickered beneath the veins of her wrists. The hunters stepped back. Her mother whispered, "Impossible." Cale's eyes remained on Serenya. "They feared you because every lie in their blood recognized its end." Serenya looked at her glowing hands. For the first time in her life, the strange things made sense. The wolves watching her from forests. The storms that came when she cried. The way candles bent toward her. The way her father looked at her with sorrow and hope. She was not the family shame. She was the debt coming due. Cassian lunged. It happened too quickly for the hunters to stop him. A silver dagger flashed in his hand as he rushed towards Serenya. Cale moved faster, but Serenya moved first. She lifted her hand. The air snapped. Cassian flew backward and slammed into a pillar so hard the stone cracked behind him. Everyone stared. Serenya stared too. Her hand trembled. Cassian groaned on the floor, alive but stunned. Cale looked almost pleased. "Again," he said quietly. Serenya turned to him. "What?" "They spent your life teaching you fear. Now teach your body command." Her mother cried out, "Do not listen to him." Serenya looked at the woman who gave birth to her and gave her nothing else. For years that voice had owned her. Now it sounded far away. "Weak." Serenya raised her hand again. The silver spears in the hunter's grips shook. One by one, they tore free and flew across the chamber, striking the wall behind Cale harmless and bent. The hunters ran. Cassian tried to rise, but his legs failed him. Her uncle dropped the spellbook. Her mother stared at Serenya as though seeing her for the first time, not as a curse, not as a burden, as power. And that, more than anything, satisfied Serenya. Cale stepped forward. The chamber darkened around him. "Go back to your hall," he said to the Blackthorns. "Gather every elder, every ally, every liar who has eaten from your table." Cassian coughed blood. "Why?" Cale's smile was faint and terrible. "Because she is coming home. If you are still watching, stay with Serenya until the end, because the family that buried her is about to learn that some graves do not hold the dead. Some graves release queens." By dawn, the storm had stopped. Mist covered the Blackthorn estate as the family gathered in the grand hall. No one celebrated now. The wine remained untouched. The musicians had fled. Every allied pack leader stood in tense silence, whispering behind gloved hands. The story had spread through the manor before sunrise. Serenya was alive. The tomb was open. The forbidden alpha had awakened. And Cassian Blackthorn, who had expected to inherit everything, sat wounded in his father's chair with terror behind his eyes. The great doors opened. Serenya entered barefoot. Her torn white dress had been replaced with a black cloak taken from the tomb wall, ancient and embroidered with gold symbols that glowed faintly as she walked. Cale walked beside her. Every wolf in the hall lowered its head, not because he commanded it, because their blood remembered him. Serenya's mother stood near the fireplace, gripping a silver charm at her throat. Cassian rose with difficulty. "This is madness," he said to the gathered elders. "She has bewitched you. She released a monster. She has endangered every pack in the region." Serenya stopped at the center of the hall. For once, she did not stand in the corner. For once, she did not lower her eyes. Cale remained silent beside her. This was her moment, not his. Serenya looked at the elders. "For 21 years, this family called me cursed. They starved me, blamed me, hid me, beat me, and last night, they buried me alive." Murmurs spread. Her mother snapped. "Lies!" Serenya turned to her. The hall chilled. "Tell them about the letter." Her mother's mouth closed. Cassian's face tightened. Serenya looked back at the elders. "My father left a warning," he said. "The Blackthorn family stole power from the first alpha and passed it through their bloodline. He said I was the true heir because the stolen blood returned to me." An elder scoffed. "Claims require proof." Cale finally moved. He extended one hand. The old spellbook flew from Serenya's uncle's arms across the hall and landed open at the elder's feet. Pages turned by themselves. Faster, faster, then stopped. The elder looked down, his face changed. Another elder leaned in, then another. No one spoke. Serenya did not need to read the page. Their silence told her enough. Cassian shouted, "Ancient records can be forged." Cale's eyes turned to him. "Then let blood answer." The floor beneath the hall began to glow. Lines of gold spread through the stone, forming a circle around every blackthorn. Serenya's mother screamed as light wrapped around her wrist. Cassian stumbled back, but the circle held him. Cale spoke in a language Serenya did not know, yet somehow understood. "Return what was stolen." The hall erupted. Gold light tore from the Blackthorn family. From Cassian, from his mother, from the uncle, from cousins, aunts, and every branch of the house that had fed on borrowed power. They screamed, but the light did not kill them. It stripped them. It pulled centuries of stolen strength from their blood and gathered it above the hall like a burning moon. Then the light descended into Serenya. She gasped. Cale caught her before she fell. Power flooded through her, but beneath the heat she felt something else. Memories. A battlefield under twin moons, an oath broken, a king betrayed, a woman from the Blackthorn line weeping as she carried away one hidden drop of true blood, protecting it from the thieves in her own house. That blood had travelled through generations, quiet, waiting, until Serenya. When the light faded, the Blackthorns collapsed to the floor. Not dead. Ordinary. Cassian looked at his hands as if they had betrayed him. His mother touched her face, suddenly older, stripped of the unnatural grace stolen power had given her. Serenya stood in the center of the hall, glowing faintly beneath the skin. The wolves outside howled. One by one, the allied pack leaders lowered their heads. Cassian looked up, desperate. "Serenya," he whispered, "please, we are family." The word landed between them. Once, it would have broken her. Now, it only reminded her of a locked door closing in the rain. Serenya walked toward him. Cassian flinched. She crouched in front of him, her voice calm. "No, family does not bury you alive and call it protection." His eyes filled with fear. "What will you do to us?" Serenya looked around the hall, at the portraits of ancestors who built their name on betrayal, at the servants who had watched her suffer but never had the power to help, at the wolves waiting beyond the windows. Then she stood. "You will live," she said, "without titles, without stolen power, without servants to command or packs to frighten." Her mother gasped. Serenya continued, "The Blackthorn estate will no longer belong to those who used it as a cage. It will become sanctuary for every rejected wolf, every unwanted daughter, every child called cursed, because their power made cowards afraid." The hall fell silent. Cale watched her with something fierce and unreadable in his eyes. Cassian shook his head. "You cannot do that." Serenya looked at him one last time. "I already have." Weeks passed. The Blackthorn name did not disappear, but its meaning changed. The iron gates that once kept Serenya trapped were opened. Rooms once reserved for proud nobles filled with broken people from distant packs. Girls with silver eyes. Boys who shifted too early. Widows accused of bad luck. Children abandoned for powers they could not control. Serenya walked among them, not as a ghost in her own home, but as the heart of it. And Cale stayed. At first, people feared him. They whispered when he passed. They stepped away from his shadow. But the children did not. Children always knew the difference between danger and cruelty. They followed him through the courtyard, asking about old wars, ancient wolves, and whether his shadow beast could eat rude people. Cale never smiled much, but he answered every question. Sometimes, Serenya watched him from the balcony and felt something inside her soften. He had lost centuries. She had lost a family. Somehow, in the ruins of both losses, they had found a strange kind of beginning. One evening, Serenya found him at the tomb entrance. The stoned wolves were still alive now, resting like loyal guardians on either side of the path. Cale stood where her family had pushed her inside. The sunset painted his face gold. "You are thinking of leaving," Serenya said. He did not turn. "My enemies will hear I am awake. Let them hear. They will come. Let them come." Now he looked at her. Serenya stepped closer. "I spent my whole life being afraid of doors closing behind me," she said. "I will not spend the rest of it afraid of who may come through them." Cale studied her. "You speak like a queen." Serenya smiled faintly. "I was told I was a curse. You were told by thieves." The wind moved between them. For a moment, neither spoke. Then Cale reached into his cloak and removed a small object. A black ring, shaped like a wolf biting the moon. "It belonged to the first Luna of my pack," he said. "Not a wife chosen for softness. Not a woman placed beside a throne for decoration. A leader, a judge, a blade when needed." Serenya looked at the ring, then at him. "Why are you giving it to me?" His golden eyes held hers. "Because power returned to you. But what you do with it is yours to decide. If you wear this, no ancient law, no pack elder, no surviving enemy can deny what you are." Serenya's voice lowered. "And what am I?" Cale stepped closer. The woman who walked out of her own grave. Her breath caught. He did not kneel. He did not bow. He simply held out the ring as an equal offering it to an equal, and that meant more. Serenya took it. The moment the ring touched her finger, the stone wolves lifted their heads. Far beyond the estate, in forests and mountains, Wolves began to howl, not in warning, in recognition. But deep below the tomb, where Cale's broken crystal still lay scattered, something else woke. A red symbol burned beneath the floor, then another, then another. Far away, across the sea, 12 hidden families felt the mark burn into their skin. The first Alpha was free. The stolen blood had returned, and the girl they thought would die in darkness had become the one name they all feared to whisper. Serenya Blackthorn stood beside Cale Vere beneath the rising moon, not rejected, not cursed, not forgotten. And when the wind carried the first enemy horn across the valley, she did not step behind him. She stepped forward, because the family that threw her away had only opened the tomb. They had not released a monster. They had released her